Part one of Local 6 Midday's Legal Line features Tara Swanson of the Bryant Law Center, Paducah, Mayfield, and Louisville, and we're talking about a new mass tort. And for those of you that aren't aware of what a mass tort is, that's somewhat of a blanket lawsuit against probably a manufacturer or something similar. And the latest one has to do with hair relaxers, Tara. So what sort of issues are we seeing from those that have used hair relaxers?
Sure. So like Dave said, a mass tort is typically where a bunch of individuals have their own cases, and it just becomes problematic when you have thousands of cases all across the country. So they just put them in front of one judge in one court for efficiency purposes is really why we do that. But with this hair relaxer lawsuit, and we're not using a brand name there because it covers a variety of brand names, but the issue is that women who have used these hair relaxers, and frankly it could be men too, but it's mostly women who have used hair relaxers over the years, are having issues with certain types of cancers, and most of those are related to the reproductive system. So if you've used a hair relaxer and you've been diagnosed with endometrial cancer, uterine cancer, breast cancer, ovarian cancer, or you have uterine tumors or fibroids, it could be linked to that use of your hair relaxer. So that's the overview of what this case is about.
That brings us to a question from Megan, who says, I have used hair relaxers since I was 22. I'm currently 34 and have been diagnosed with ovarian cancer. Now, is that something that could be attributed to this? And how many times would I have had to use this? What are the stipulations there?
Yeah, so we do get a lot of questions about the length of time you would have had to use the product. And generally speaking, you need to have used it for at least 1 year, and within that year, used it 5 times or more. And it doesn't matter whether you used it at home or whether you had it done by a professional. You just needed to use it within a year and had used it 5 times. And speaking of that, we've gotten a lot of questions about people worried that their personal hairstylist or salon is going to get sued, and it has nothing to do with that. These are the manufacturers, these large companies who make these products, who sell them to you and to your stylist. But this lawsuit is not against your local stylist or hair salon. It's against the big manufacturers who make these products.
Have about a minute left in this segment, and someone wants to know, how long do I have to file a claim?
That's going to depend on what state you're from and what state you were in, you lived in when you used the product. But typically, a good rule of thumb is the shortest. Just assume that you're under the shortest statute before you call an attorney, and the shortest is going to be 1 year. So when that's 1 year from when you knew or should have known that you were injured by the product. That's not 1 year from when you used it. So if you used it a long time ago and you were diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and this is the first you're hearing of it, today should be the day when your 1 year statute of limitations start, but don't delay, because before you know it, that 1 year is gone like that. So call an attorney to ask your questions to them. Got
about 20 seconds left. Real quickly, someone wants to know, if I file a claim, how much time will I have to spend in court?
So with an MDL, with mass torts, you shouldn't have to spend any time in court. There is a very slim, rare chance they do what's called bellwether trials, and each side, the defense and the prosecution, pick a handful of cases, put them in a bag, and basically it's drawn for who's going to do a bellwether trial, and that's just to see, hey, what's going on with this case. So you're probably not going to spend any time in court, and but yeah, I guess that's the answer to that one.
Okay, Tara Swanson of the Bryant Law Center, Paducah, Mayfield, and Louisville, our guest on part one of today's Local 6 Legal Line. Part two is straight ahead, and we'll have the Honorable Mark Bryant, and he'll be answering more questions. Stay tuned. That's straight ahead on Local 6 Midday.